Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 385th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Okay, you can see this battle was fought on the Prippet marshes map. Now, I'd just like to explain why I quite like this map to play on now and again. And that is because you've got kind of the best of both worlds here. You've got big open plains that you might want to fight in, if you want to go and fight out in the open. Or, you've got the woods, where you can bring barbarian troops and get the woods bonus. Okay, so this map's got it both. You can either bring barbarian troops to fight from in the woods, or you can bring other factions where you want to fight out in the open there. So it's as I say, it's quite an interesting map here. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Legion 22, who has unusually bought the Britannia faction. Okay, now straight away you'll see that you can't see most of his units because they're hiding in the woods. Okay, remember, all units except the general and I think some chariot units can hide in the woods. Okay, there's his chosen sword general there. Okay, the chosen swordsman general, and his general is fully upgraded. There's a close-up of the barbarian troops elite infantry there. Okay, he's a chosen swordsman, that's his general, fully upgraded. Okay, and then I think he's got 6 barbarian warlord chariots. Okay, now these guys I think are the best, pound for pound, are the best chariots in the game. I think he's got 4 upgrades. Yeah, 4 upgrades on his chariots, which I'm going for gold attack and bronze defense. Okay, so each one of these chariots are costing him 1,500 denarii. Okay, 1,500 denarii. You can see they got the driver of the chariot and a swordsman in them, and they've got 5 hit points. Okay, that's 1 hit point more than any other chariot unit in this game. Plus, they don't run amok. Okay, so you've got 5 hit points. Plus, they don't run amok. So as I say, pound for pound, I think they're probably the best chariots in the game. They got great attacking specifications and a massive fear factor that they bring to the battlefield, lowering the morale of enemy troops and making them more susceptible to routing. Okay, so as I say, with gold attack and bronze shield on these chariots, they're costing him 1,500 denarii each, so they are expensive, and it'll be interesting to see if they're going to be worth that money during the course of the battle. As I say, the rest of his units are hiding within the woods, and we might be able to have a look at them a bit later on. Okay, right, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Aurelius, who has bought the Greek Cites faction. Okay, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think he's got 17 spear units there. Okay, and he's got a mixture of spear units. He's obviously got his Spartans there, and I see he's got just gold shield, gold attack on his Spartan units there. He's got the really cheap hoplite spearmen. Okay, those are really cheap units there. My guess is he'll probably use those for pilot shield units there. And I say they are cheap, but as long as they hold their ground, they'll soak up enemy pilots as good as any other expensive unit. And then he's got his armoured hoplites there as well. So as a lot of you will know, the armoured hoplites are pretty good troops in their own right. But as I say, he's got 17 spearmen there, I think. So they'll probably give him about 2 or 3 Cretan archers hiding in the woods there. Okay, so that looks like a pretty good balanced Greek city army to me. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Mad King, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. Now, a couple of his units will be hiding in the woods there, but I think he's got 5, 6. Yeah, he's got 12 infantry units there. Let's have a quick look at the upgrades. Okay, he's got 7 upgrades on these units. So that's an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack. My guess is he's probably got mixed upgrades there. Yeah, I see 7 upgrades there, an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack on that unit. But if you look at some of the other units there, he's just got gold shield, gold attack on. Okay, so he's got mixed upgrades on his infantry, and it looks like he's got 1 archer unit there. And I think he's got 6 cavalry. My guess is he's got 2 other cavalry units hiding in the woods there. That'll be wherever they're behind. Let's have a quick look at the upgrades of his cavalry. I think he's put a lot of upgrades on his infantry. Yeah, he's just got gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry because he spent, I think, most of his money on his infantry there. So that's a pretty good balanced army there. Okay, now our next teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who has unusually bought a Germania army, a Germania faction. Now this army is really ancient. It might even be 12 years, maybe 13 years old. But as a lot of you know, I like to bring old armies to the modern day battlefield to see how well they do against good modern players. Okay, so this is as I say, a really old Germanic army here. And they can be, I call them actually shock troops. and you'll see what I mean. Let's have a look at them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I've got something like 11 infantry, including the berserkers. Let's have a closer look at this old army's units. Right, okay, I've got effective against armour axemen. Now remember, these guys, just as I said, are effective against armour. They're chosen axemen, and used correctly, they can cut wide swathes through heavily armoured troops like Roman urban cohorts. Okay, and then we've got Knight Raiders. Now these Knight Raiders are good infantry in their own right, but they bring a fear factor. Can you see how they're painted to make them look fearsome and to bring fear to the enemy troops? So they bring a big fear factor as well as being good infantry as well. Now remember, the more fear you can bring to the enemy troops, the lower the morale they have and the more susceptible they are to routing. So I think I've got, let's see, I think I've got 3, if I remember right, yeah, I've got 3 Knight Raiders in my army. 1, 2, 3, 4... and maybe 5 chosen axemen. Okay, so 3 Knight Raiders, 5 chosen axemen, and then 3 berserkers. Okay, now remember, these berserkers have got effective against armor maces. They've got 2 hit points, excellent morale, excellent attacking specifications, and used correctly, these can be battle-winning troops. I would say that these berserkers possibly are the most powerful units on Rome Total War. In the early days of Rome Total War, people used to bring whole armies of these berserkers, and it was just a case of point, attack, win. Okay, so that's why in the 31k rules we restricted Germania to just 3 berserkers. But a good Germania general, in coordination with his allies, can still make these battle-winning troops. Okay. And remember, these are based on real characters that used to literally go berserk in battle. Okay, so that's my old Germanic army there. And I say you've got, I think I've got 6 cavalry units. Let's have a look at the, I've got the Gothic cavalry. Now remember, we talked about these Gothic cavalry before, very underestimated cavalry. If you look at their specifications, they're extremely good. And I've got an armoured cavalry general. Obviously from your general there, you can see here, urging his troops on there. See how he's moving his sword forward there. And I think, if I remember right, that unit is, I think that's a fully upgraded armoured general unit. If we pull back a little bit, you can see the upgrades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's 9 upgrades. So that's 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack for that armoured general unit. Okay, so this Germanic army, I would say, is full of shock troops. Okay, and using coordination with our allies, these shock troops can be battle-winning troops. But also, just like to say that it's also an incredibly fragile faction as well. Because if you get the timing wrong, and they start to get a lot of casualties, okay, because their morale's not very good, you could see the whole of your Germania army rout en masse. Okay, so like I say, in coordination with their allies, they can be battle-winning troops, but they are such a strange faction because, as I say, if they start suffering heavy casualties, they will rout en masse, and you will see the whole of your Germanic army just leaving the battlefield. So they are a strange faction to bring to the modern-day battlefield because of that fact. And as I say, the berserkers, the chosen axemen, and the Knight Raiders, plus that massive cavalry hit going in as well. As I say, they are kind of like shock troops to me, and in good coordination with their allies, they can kind of, as I say, be battle-winning troops there. But you've got to get the timing right. As I say, working completely in coordination with your allies. Your allies' Roman army's got to go in first to make the first contact with the enemy, take the pillars, and then you push your Germanic army and cavalry through your allies into the enemy troops, and you will usually cause a mass rout of the enemy army there. So there's our team there. Looks pretty good, but you wait till you see the other team. This could be a classic battle. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Bark, who has bought the Seleucid faction. As you can see, the vast majority of his units will be hiding in the woods there. So all you can see really is a pike unit and 1 companion cavalry unit there. And I see that companion cavalry unit's got 7 upgrades. An experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. There you are, the winged horsemen, as we call them, because of the wings type of thing on their helmets there. But as you can see, the vast majority of his army will be hiding in the woods. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member JGP, who has bought the Rome SPQR faction. You'll see a large amount of his units will be hiding in the woods as well there. My guess is he's got 6 cavalry, 1 unit hiding in the woods, and he's just got gold shield, gold attack on those cavalry. Okay, their next teammate is a clansman from the RV clan, and it is RV Alexander, who has bought the Rome Bruto faction. Nice to have other clan members in our battles here. Welcome to the Brotherhood battles there. And you can see he's got 4 archers, 1, 2, 3, got 6 cavalry, and I think he's got 10 infantry. So he's got 10 infantry, 6 cavalry and 4 archers there. Have a quick look at the upgrades on his infantry. Okay, he's just got gold shield, gold attack on his infantry there. So I'm thinking his cavalry might be quite well upgraded, maybe. And what's he got on there? Yeah, he's got 8 upgrades. So he's got 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now remember, this Praetorian cavalry are elite in their own right, but you put 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on them, and that kind of makes them super elite. So whether those cavalry might be battle-winning troops towards the end of the battle, we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, their 4th teammate is RV member Corndog, who has unusually bought the Gaul faction. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, 31k battle, Gaul, very unusual, but I think he's got a reason for bringing these troops. Okay, can you see he's got his warband, 120-man warband units there with their spears. So, of course, spear and pike units have got anti-cavalry bonuses there. And I say 120 man of those, and he's got another 2 of those at the back there. Not many upgrades on them, but I'm guessing he's bought them to try and neutralise any of our cavalry there. The bulk of his army is here that he's put into en masse there. He's got skirmishers. Now you might think skirmishers, those of you not familiar with Gaul, why would he bring skirmishers? Right, well, skirmishers have got a bonus against elephants, and get ready for this, and chariots. So they're missile troops, but they've got a bonus against elephants and chariots. So you can see why he's bought those units now, because of course he's facing Britannia with their elite chariots. So he's bought these skirmishers here because they've, as I say, they've got a bonus against elephants and chariots. So it'll be interesting to see how they do, and later on in the battle, if they do come up against the chariots there. I see he's got his elite chosen swordsman infantry there at the rear of his formation, and I think he's gone for barbarian chosen warlord for his cavalry. Okay, so they've got hit points and have got extremely good specifications. His Forester archers, which my guess is he's probably got 5 or 6 of those, are hiding. Now remember, those Forester archers can hide anywhere on the battlefield. As soon as they stop moving, they just disappear from sight, so the enemy can't see them. So there's the, you say, he's bought those, Gaul faction there, as I say, to try and counter Britannia, I think, with those skirmishers against those chariots, okay? So I think that's the main reason why he's bought Gaul. Plus he's got those fantastic Forester archers, and he's got those 120-man spear units as well, which will also counter chariots. So there's the other scene. Should be a great one to watch. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle here, you can see I'm moving my Germanic army over into the woods, okay? And the reason for that is that both Britannia and myself are hoping we're going to fight this battle in the woods if we can, because, of course, barbarian troops get a woods bonus. Okay, so that's why both Legion 22 with his Britannia army and myself with my Germanic army would like to fight in the woods. Okay, at this stage of the battle, you can see that there are the Forester archers. Remember, they were hiding when we looked at the Gaul army before. And as I say, these guys have got long range. Their alternative attack weapon is a short spear, so they can actually counter cavalry attacks on them as well. So not only can they just disappear wherever they want, they've got good long range here. And my guess is they'll be moved forward here by the Gaul general to be able to try and take out our archers. As you can see, you've got already got the Brutii auxiliary archers there shooting down onto our troops. If you notice here, I think Mad King's wisely withdrawing his Scipii troops there, plus his archers as well, because there is a slight slope on this map. Can you see the enemy are on a slightly higher ground from us? So of course their missile damage will be higher because they'll get that slightly high ground advantage there. And if Mad King's not careful, he'll lose a lot of his archers here because of that advantage that they've got. Plus, they do outnumber him with archers at this particular part of the battlefield there. Okay, so he's wisely moving his archers back there. But as you can see there, you've got a lot of the Roman archers and those Gaul Forester archers there shooting at him as well. So there's a lot of firepower here on this left flank shooting down onto Mad King. As I say, the map does slope slightly in favour of the enemy troops here, moving from high to low there, if you see what I mean. See JGP moving forward very aggressively with his SBQR units. Plus you can see the RV general there moving his Brutii troops forward as well. And there you can see Bark bringing his Seleucid army over. As we thought, they're mostly pikes. Now he's bought mostly pikes there, obviously to counter barbarian troops. Remember, barbarian troops die quickly on spears and pikes. Okay, let's just pause again for a second. Now, if you notice here, can you see that all my troops here, all my infantry, are now hiding? Can you see them knelt down here? Okay, and now don't forget, in the woods you can hide units, and that's exactly what I'm doing with my infantry there. Because remember, if the enemy forget where they saw your troops, then they don't know where your troops are now, hiding in the woods. See, they're all knelt down, berserkers, my chosen axemen, and my night raiders there, so the enemy can't see them, and if they forgot where they saw them last, they won't know where they are. Also, my cavalry are hiding as well. See, hiding, they're all hiding as well. The only unit they would see is my general. You can't hide your general on RTW. He's always seen wherever you go, but they don't know where my cavalry are, and they don't know where my infantry are, so that's why I'm hiding them there. And as I say, back up here now, you can see the enemy moving forward here. And as I say, there's an archer battle going on here, but I think it's a little bit one-sided there because Mad King's archers are so outnumbered here by the enemy archers. Plus, they got that slightly higher ground advantage. So I think as far as the archer war goes, the enemy look like they've probably won here on our left flank. Okay, at this stage of the battle, you can see the Britannia army coming out of the woods. Remember, we couldn't see them earlier, and he's got his legion's got his elite, I think, fully upgraded. Chosen swordsmen there. These are the elite infantry, as I say, of the barbarian troops. And then he's got lots of head hurlers as well. Now remember, these heads are effective against armor, okay, and they also bring a fear factor as well. And as I say, when you put these head hurlers in a big group, the absolutely devastation they can cause to well armored troops is amazing. They can rout whole units with the damage that they do. So that's a pretty good army there, I think, with those really good chariots and that infantry there. Should be interesting to see how well he does during the course of the battle. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at the disposition of the enemy team here. Okay, you can see that Seleucid pikes are integrated with his SBQ or allies there. Okay, so what I think our battle plan is here with our shock troops here. Okay, my Germania shock troops and the Britannia chariots and our Scipio ally on this flank is to attack. Now, where do you think you would attack if you were our team? New players to roam to, well, I know veterans will spot this straight away, but new players to roam toward, do you think we'd go straight up the centre there to attack SBQ Aura and attack into those Seleucid pikes? Or maybe go over there on the right flank? Where do you think you would attack if you were our army? Our team here, where do you think you would attack there? Now remember that pikes kill barbarian troops really easily, including the berserkers, possibly the most powerful units in the game. They die easily on pikes. So there's our target, the enemy Brutii army there. Okay, now what I think we would do here is, if you notice there, we've got all our shock troops there. Mad King would attack first to make first contact with the enemy and take the pillars. Okay, my Germanic army then would pour through his engaged troops and attack those Brutii infantry, and Legion's chariots would come round the flank and smash into the flank. And if that plan works and the timing's great, then that Brutii army will rout. Make no doubt about that, it will rout. So that's the plan there. Mad King's Scipio troops make the first contact, take the pillars. I charge my infantry through his infantry, and our chariots come round the side. Okay, so that's the plan to take out that Brutii army. Okay, that's the initial plan there. So as I say, that could be extremely effective if we do that. You can see a lot of the Gaul warband archers have come forward here to target some of Aurelius's spear units there. As they're moving, of course, they are incredible susceptible to archer damage. They're incredibly susceptible to archer damage there as they're moving, and that's what those warband archers are doing. Notice they're in close formation as well, so their arrows has more impact and do more damage there. Okay, so as I say, they're targeting the our Greek cities allies there as they move. But as I say here, the main target here for us is going to be the Brutii infantry here. This is where our target's going to be here. I'll just have to see whether that's where our turret's going to stay or whether things may change. As I say, when you make a plan, you must always have a bit of flexibility in that plan if you need to. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I'd just like to draw your attention to some companion cavalry, Bark's companion cavalry there. You can see where their main armies are over there, but if you notice, can you see he's slowly moving these 3 units of companion cavalry down through the woods, okay? He's slowly moving them around there, because what his aim would be is hoping he's not going to be noticed, get his cavalry down here maybe, and then right at the time when he wants to, charge his cavalry in to activate my berserkers, okay? Now remember, if enemy units get close to your berserkers, they activate them automatically, and then the Germania general loses all control of those berserker units, and they just charge for the nearest enemy unit. Okay, so that's a tactic used by a lot of players on RTW, is to try and get fast moving cavalry to actually attack the berserkers and activate them. So as I say, they lose, the Germania general loses all control over them. Now just like to draw your attention, can you see how Bark isn't running his cavalry, he's just walking them steadily. Now you know, like if something moves fast out the corner of your eye, you tend to notice it, don't you? But if something moves slowly and steadily, you might not notice that. And that's what I think Bark is hoping for there. He's going to move down there to try and attack us. Now we've got our chariots and cavalry there to counter that cavalry if we spot him. Okay, now remember, we're going to be concentrating on the main part of the battlefield here, so our battlefield awareness has to come into play here, or we could lose all our berserkers. Okay, at the moment we've got archer fire that we're doing at the moment. See that SBQR cavalry unit charging as well. So as I say, we're concentrating on the front of the battle here, and you know, we could miss what's going on with that Seleucid cavalry. So as I say, battlefield awareness. This is something we talk a lot about in the Brotherhood, and it's something that is really worth doing. Okay, so we spotted that slow-moving companion Seleucid cavalry coming round our flank. Okay, can you see that Legion's taking his chariots across? I've got my cavalry turned to face, and if you notice, Mad King is bringing his Scipio cavalry across as well. We'd actually spotted the Seleucid cavalry right from the beginning of its movement there, so that's why I talk about good battlefield awareness, okay? Now, as you can see here, we're advancing with chariots and our cavalry. They're over to take out those Seleucid cavalry before they can try and get to my berserkers, okay? That unit there would love to be able to have kind of got past us there and got over and smashed into my berserkers to activate them. And of course, as I said, that I lose all control over the berserkers, so we must take that Seleucid cavalry out with our cavalry. But as I say, we spotted them, we waited for them to get close, and then we decided to attack. Okay, so we're hopefully going to take out these 3 units of Seleucid cavalry there. Can you see that Seleucid cavalry units now decided to charge into those head hurlers? But those head hurlers were on alt attack there, and we've managed to rout that unit there as well. And as you can see here, Legion's taking his chariots over there to rout the other 2 Seleucid units there. So as I say, this is something I can't emphasize enough to all players that play RTW: battlefield awareness. Okay, yes, keep an eye on what's happening in front of you, but also keep an eye on what's going on around the battlefield there, because make no mistake, if that Seleucid cavalry got in behind us, they would have activated my berserkers and taken out 3 of the most powerful units on RTW, and I wouldn't have been able to control them anymore. Okay, so as I say, that's just something to have a look at there. Okay, so at this stage of the battle, remember our battle plan here is to hit the enemy Brutii army. So Mad King's going to go in first, as I say, make first contact with the enemy, take the pillars. My Germanic troops are going to go in through his troops to attack the Brutii infantry, and then our Britannia is going to take his chariots around the flank here to attack them. Now, if our plan goes to plan, and the time is just right, we will definitely rout that Brutii army as it stands at the moment, unless his team gets reinforcements over there. Okay, now you can see Mac is now Bark here with his pikes have spotted what we're going to do here. Can you see he's bringing his pike army across here? Now remember, those pikes kill all barbarian troops really quickly, so that's why he's bringing those Seleucid spearmen, those Seleucid pikemen over here. You can see that the Brutii general here is throwing loads of pillars into Mad King's Scipio troops, but Bark has spotted what we're going to do. So just pause the game for a second. Bark has spotted what we're going to do, and he's moved his pikemen over to support his Brutii ally. Now, as I say, those pikes will kill our barbarian troops, including berserkers and chariots, really quickly. So we need a rethink here on our battle plan, okay? So we need to be flexible here and see what we're going to do. Now, maybe the best target now is the enemy SBQR army with no pike protection, okay? But as I say, we were all set to attack this Brutii army here. So, you know, all our plans are there, but now we've got to shift really to hit those SBQR troops with no pike protection. Okay, As I say here, if we carry on with our attack here, my guess is that Brutii general will pull his infantry in behind those pikes, and then our barbarian troops would just die so quickly on those pikes, it'd be unbelievable. So as I say, we got to try and change our battle plan here. Let's just pause the game for a second. So as I say, you got my Germanic troops here ready to attack, but as I say, I think those Brutii infantry will retreat behind his pikes there, so that the pikes would take the main impact of the attack. And of course, as soon as our barbarian troops try and get through those pikes, they'll die quickly. So SBQR, the enemy SBQR troops there are going to be a target, our new target. Okay, but now we've got to shift everything over from this flank over to that other flank there, if you like, to try and take out those, to attack those SBQR units over there. You can see JGP throwing some of his cavalry in here to attack one of Mad King's pilot shield units there. As I say, there's a lot of pilots being thrown in here at the moment into Mad King's units. If you notice here, can you see Bark taking his pikes a little bit more over centrally there? But he's there predominantly to protect Brutio there. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second. Right, can you see the barbarian warlord chariots come over? So can you see the enemy frightened by chariots? Now, don't make no mistake, their morale will be lowered a heck of a lot there by those chariots, okay? Makes them, as I say, more susceptible to routing. You can see that Legion's brought all his head hurlers over, with those effective against armour heads. They're going to do a lot of damage to the enemy troops. So for all intents and purposes, we're still going to attack on this left flank. Now, this is a diversionary tactic, okay, that Legion's doing here. He knows that our plan is now to strike SBQR, but he's still going to keep moving with his chariots and head herders here to keep the enemy guessing that we're going to attack this left flank, when, as I say, it's a diversionary tactic and we really want to hit that SBQR infantry. Okay, so as I say, this is a good diversionary attack here by Legion here. As I say, keep the enemy still thinking we're going to attack on this left flank. Okay, can you see that SBQR cavalry charging and bang as they smash into our allies' infantry there? Now that was a heck of a cavalry hit there by the enemy SBQR general. Very aggressive there. If you notice here, can you see that Legion's got his elite chosen swordsman over on this flank? And if you notice here, I'm going to start shifting my Germania army over there. It's all about timing. We don't want to give the enemy time to start redeploying those pikes. We've got to move fast here. And as I say, I'm keeping my Germania army hidden right to the last moment there when we're going to hit that SBQR army. As I say, can you see over on the other flank there, the Britannia chariots going in? And those head herders there as well. As I say, keeping the enemy thinking we're going to keep attacking that left flank, keeping those pikes pinned over there. So that's as I say, it's a great diversionary tactic there by Legion there, really good. And of course, Mad King's there with some units as well. He's routed some of the enemy Brutii infantry there. But as I say, our main attack plan now is shifted to this enemy SBQR troops. Now the enemy have got a lot of cavalry there. Okay, now those cavalry could neutralise our attack. We'll just have to wait and see. But as I say here, we've had to switch attack kind of mid-battle here, as we don't want to get our barbarian troops anywhere near those pikemen there. So as I say, the enemy SBQR infantry are now our new target. But as I say, I think Legion 22 is doing a fantastic job there with that diversionary tactic over there, really pulling the enemy over. I see Gaul has even pulled a lot of units over to that side as well, as that's where they're expecting the attack. Alright, you can see Mad King. I can't tell you how good a job Mad King is doing. He's spread his army out here, really supporting all of us here. He's got units attacking the enemy Brutii there, and Seleucid has got units here helping us to attack the enemy SBQR. Meanwhile, we got Britannia chariots over to that flank, making the enemy still think we're going to attack over on that flank. Okay, we've got Aurelius here with his Greek cities moving forward into SBQR. But as I say, with my Germanic army there, I just want to get the timing right. I don't want to give the enemy time to redeploy those pikes over to this flank. So it's all a matter of timing here. Okay, you can see the enemy SBQR cavalry charging in here into Mad King's infantry, and bang as that cavalry hits. But if you notice now, can you see I'm moving my Germanic army? I've moved them out of hiding position, and I'm now moving them towards the enemy SBQR troops. Okay, so that's where I'm going out. There's no messing around, there's no hiding anymore. They can see that's where we're going to hit. But as I say, there's a lot of enemy cavalry smashing into one particular part of our battle line here. Right, can you see our battle line is really thin here, and the enemy could punch a hole through that particular part of our battle line. Can you see we've hardly got any units there, and the enemy could punch a hole through that battle line into us. So that's a really, really precarious part of our battle line there. Meanwhile, over on our left flank here, you can see the chariot charging in. But remember, these warband guys have got spears. So they've got, and also you've got those skirmishers there as well, which have got a bonus against chariots. But as I say, this is a diversionary attack here by Legion here, making the enemy think we're still going to attack this left flank. Well, really, we're going for the SBQR. See the head hurlers there, throwing their effective against heads in, effective against armor heads in there, causing a lot of damage and fear to the enemy troops there with the those head hurlers, head strikes on them. But as I say, we got the enemy thinking we're still going to attack here on the left flank, which is just what we wanted to do. Meanwhile, here you can see I'm moving my Germanic army over here, ready to attack the enemy SBQR. But as I say, we've got a really weak part of our battle line there that the enemy are looking to exploit and punch a hole through. Okay, so I can see the situation here is becoming absolutely terrible here at this particular part of the battlefield. I'm going to have to move my Germanic troops in quick. Remember, you have to do war cry with your Germanic troops to get the best attacking out of them. So I'm going to charge the Axemen in first, and the Knight Raiders in then as well. So you got Knight Raiders, Axemen going in, and my Berserkers are going to go in last. I want my Axemen and Knight Raiders to take the first hit with the enemy, and then move my Berserkers in. Okay, now don't forget the Berserkers have got a big fear factor. See, I've got my cavalry out there ready to charge as well. Got them in wedge formation, ready to get the full impact into that enemy when I charge in. Meanwhile, over on our left flank here, you can see the Britannia chariots here trying to fight those warband troops there, and those skirmishers as well. But don't forget, those skirmish troops there are going to be throwing javelins into those chariots as well. And don't forget, they got that bonus against chariots as well. Mad King is doing so good with his infantry here, really spread his army out, really doing the best he can with those infantry of his. Excellent use of his army there. Okay, so there's my Germanic troops going in now. Okay, I've got the war cry. I've sounded the war cry there, which enhances their attack capability. And both my chosen Axemen and my Knight Raiders, then my Berserkers, are now hitting the enemy. Now really the final thing I need now is to bring my cavalry in here. You can see the cavalry, the enemy cavalry counter-attacking, and bang! Okay, so pause again for a second. So okay, you can see my whole Germanic infantry now are attacking the enemy team. I've hit war cry, I've activated my Berserkers. They are all charging into the enemy now. Okay, and what I need now is my cavalry that is coming in there in wedge formation to smash in to those enemy troops there to kind of finish them off. But meanwhile, over here on the left flank here, you can see that all of Legion's elite chariots have now been routed by those Gaul troops there over on that flank there. Have routed them. Okay, so our left flank now is being held by Mad King's Scipio troops and some Britannia head hurlers over there. Okay, so things not looking very good on our left flank here, but as I say, I'm attacking here with my infantry. They're charging in there. You can see the enemy SBQR cavalry charging in there, and bang, as that cavalry goes in. But you can see here, can you see my Germanic cavalry coming forward? I've got them in wedge formation for maximum impact, maximum damage, to help my infantry that are charging as well there. And see my cavalry going in there as it goes in, and bang, as that cavalry smashes into the enemy ranks there. Okay, so it wouldn't surprise me if that whole SBQR part of the battle line started to rout there. There you can see. Now we've smashed a hole through the enemy battle line there. Don't forget, there's Britannia, chosen swordsman there, and all my infantry and my cavalry there. We've routed the SBQR general. What I want to do now is chase those routing cavalry down with my cavalry. We don't want them rallying there. Okay, you've got our Greek cities ally attacking some of the enemy JGP's infantry there. Okay, but meanwhile, over on our left flank here, we've only got head hurlers trying to hold. Now, they're only light infantry, and they're trying to hold our left flank. Now, if they are beaten there, the enemy will then get in behind us and attack our Scipio ally from behind. Okay, I can see some of Legion's chariots there have rallied. Now, we don't really want to bring them over here against those pikes and those units there with bonuses against chariots. What he wants to do is take them maybe over to the other flank there to help us take out what's left of the enemy SBQR troops. But as I said here, we have punched a hole through the enemy battle line here and routed most of the SBQR army. Now what I need to do now is try and get my troops in behind those engaged enemy Seleucid troops. Okay, bad news, our left flank after a fierce fight has now been broken. Okay, make no mistake, our left flank has now been broken, and the enemy will look to come around the left and go into the rear of our engaged Scipio allies troops, and they will look to roll us up from left to right here. Okay, make no mistake about that, our left flank has been broken, and they will look to roll us up from left to right. Okay, we've done well over on the right flank and right centre here by breaking the enemy SBQR troops there. But as I say, our left flank has now been, after a fierce fight, has now been broken. My cavalry is going to try and chase down those SBQR routers. But I want to get my infantry into the flank and into the rear of those engaged enemy Seleucid pikemen. Okay, so that's what I want to do. So as I say there, you can see here that my troops now are heading towards those Seleucid pikemen. I want to charge into the site. You can see that Legion's brought his Britannia chariots over here as well, ready to attack. Okay, can you see that 107-man Seleucid pike unit there has just routed, right? Frightened by chariots, frightened by my Night Raiders, frightened by my Berserkers, lowering the morale of those troops, okay? There's so much lowering of morale of enemy troops here by the troops that we've bought, that those Seleucid, remember Seleucid morale is not very good anyway, so we stand a good chance of maybe routing a lot of those Seleucid troops because we've lowered their morale so much by bringing the units that we've bought. Okay, but as I say, over on our left flank here, the enemy are running rampant, and they will now charge into the rear of our engaged Scipio ally there. As I say, I'm trying to chase down the routing SBQR cavalry because we don't want them rallying and coming back into the battle. Right, you can see here my infantry now are charging towards the rear of those pikemen there. But notice here, can you see that the enemy Brutii troops, Gaul troops and Seleucid troops are starting to actually rout our Scipio allies there. Okay, let's just pause again for a second. Okay, so a lot of Mad King's infantry have now been taken out. Okay, so not only has our left flank been routed, our left centre has now been routed as well. Okay, after a fierce fight, our left flank and left centre has now been routed. Okay, and broken. And as I say, the enemy are rolling us up from left to right. So I would think, looking at this now, the battle will be over pretty soon there. And well played to the enemy team there on that flank. We've still got our Greek cities ally left, and we've still got our barbarian troops left, but most of our Scipio ally has now been taken out. Okay, after doing a fantastic job there with his army, most of Mad King's Scipio troops have now been taken out. Okay, so here we are, we're charging into those Seleucid pikemen there. I got infantry, we got chariots, of course we've got the morale sapping units that we've got there as well, charging into those Seleucid pikemen, routing a lot of the enemy Seleucid pikemen and some of the enemy SBQR infantry there as well. Okay, so as I say here, we're doing quite well against Seleucid. Say those Night Raiders, Berserkers and chariots there, lowering the morale of enemy troops, making them incredibly susceptible to routing. Okay, so that's really good, bringing those units. You can see that the enemy, I think, are still cavalry dominant. Okay, they're still cavalry dominant, I think. As you can see, the enemy SBQR cavalry moving around. Okay, let's just take stock of the battle as it stands at the moment. You can see a lot of enemy cavalry. Our Greek cities ally is running his units over, trying to chase down enemy units there. I've still got the bulk of my Germanic infantry still attacking the enemy troops there, and we've routed a lot of the enemy troops. But as I say, we did lose our left flank and left centre. You can see a lot of enemy cavalry and troops have got in behind us here. Okay, you can see that. And remember, those Gaul troops are our barbarian troops as well, so they get a woods bonus. So if we fight them there in the woods, they will be fighting with a bonus. Right, as you can see here, we've got our Britannia allied chariots still attacking the enemy troops. We've got the bulk of my infantry still attacking the troops there. Our Greek city ally hasn't, I don't think he's suffered too many casualties yet, so we've still got a lot of Greek city units left. You see my Berserker units here now have lost all control of them as soon as they go berserk, and if you see, they've decided to attack a pike unit, which will probably kill them quite quickly if unless they get reinforcements coming there to help them. Okay, but we've there we go, we've just killed the Seleucid general there. I think the Seleucid general's just been taken out, so we've done quite well there, bearing in mind the position that we were in not too long ago. But as I say, remember, when your ally brings Greek cities, straight away you are put at a cavalry disadvantage here, and we're just wondering whether the cavalry advantage that the enemy have got here may well make the difference towards the end of the battle. Right, can you see my Germanic troops here are attacking those Brutii infantry, trying to kill that Brutii general. That's what I really want to do there. I'm concentrating my Germanic troops on trying to kill that Brutii general. But if that Brutii cavalry charges in, which it is going to charge in now, bang, is it charging? Okay, or the Britannia general has just been routed here. And it wouldn't surprise me now. Remember, Germanic morale is not very good. They're seeing their allies rout here, so my guess is that a lot of my units are going to be routed there, and yes, they have. Let's just pause the game there. Okay, so I've just lost a heck of a lot of my Germanic infantry there through that Britannia, through that Brutii cavalry charge. Okay, so not a lot of troops left from me now. Luckily our Greek cities allies still got a lot of units left there, but he's spread out quite a lot, being shot by archers and being isolated. Some of his units are getting isolated. See his general there being hit by Seleucid cavalry. Bart wants to take out the Greek city's general there to lower the morale of his troops. If you notice here, I'm charging my Germanic battle damaged Germanic cavalry in there to try and help his general. Remember, team games are just that, team games. We help each other out where we can. I can see my allies' generals under threat there, so I'm going to charge my battle damaged cavalry in there to try and help out as much as I can. Remember those Seleucid cataphract cavalry, the tanks of the ancient world, have got effective against armor maces, okay? But I'm just hoping that maybe I might just have a few more numbers of them. See those effective against armor maces there? And that's it's hopefully going to take them out. Right, okay, that's great. We managed to take out those Seleucid attacking cavalry there. Meanwhile, though, you can see our Greek city's ally there still got some units left, but it's a bit spread out. Let's just pause again for a second to take stock of exactly what's happening. Okay, so I've got some cavalry left, but that's all. I think that's all the units I've got left. As I say, our Greek city ally's got a lot of units there, but he's been chasing down enemy units there, and his army is pretty spread out, making it maybe susceptible to being shot by arrows and getting isolated units there, getting hit by cavalry and infantry. You can see there's a lot of enemy cavalry still roaming around the battlefield there, ready to smash in where needed. So that's a general disposition of the battle as it stands at the moment. See that Brutii cavalry charging into that Greek city unit there, trying to hit the Greek city units when it was on the run there before it got its spears down there, to try and cause a lot of casualties. Let's say here we've had those Forester Warband archers shooting into us all the way through the battle there, so I'm looking to try and take them out if I can. But as you can see here, a lot of enemy cavalry and infantry still here in the woods there. See that? Remember, the enemy are the SBQR and the Gaul there in that particular part of the battlefield. As I say, our Greek cities allies still got a lot of spear units left here, but they are a little bit isolated. Needs to kind of consolidate his infantry if he can, because isolated units will get taken out, especially with those archers shooting in on them as well. So you can see a lot of the enemy troops there attacking our Greek city ally there. That cavalry, I got a feeling, is going to go into the flank or the rear of one of those Greek city units there, and there it goes, and bang, as that SBQ cavalry hits, trying to take out those Greek city units. Remember, those Greek city units got 2 hit points, excellent morale, excellent specifications. So they are tough troops, and they're going to hold quite well there. And you can see the attack coming in on those Greek city units from all directions there, and yet those units are still managing to hold. Okay, now I've noticed here that they've the enemy have still got cavalry dominance here. So what I want to do with what's left of my battle damaged cavalry is to try and cause as many casualties to the enemy cavalry as I can here. Right? Can you see? I'm actually charging into those enemy SBQ or cavalry units there. As I say, I've noticed that they have got cavalry dominance, so I want to do as much damage as I can. Let's just pause the game for a second. So those 3 SBQ units, there's lots of enemy Gaul cavalry and Brutii cavalry out there as well. So as I say, I want to do as much damage to the enemy cavalry as I can here to try and take out as much of their cavalry dominance as I can. And of course, that's sometimes easier said than done. But as you see, I've got battle depleted cavalry units in there. You can see Brutii, Gaul units hitting me, cavalry units, bang! Another Gaul unit going in and bang as it smashes into my Germanic troops. Remember though, what I've said to you before, this Gothic cavalry, very underestimated cavalry, good cavalry. And if you notice there, we're managing to still hold on. I'd like to take out that Gaul general if I could. Obviously lower the morale of his troops. Gaul's morale, barbarian troops morale in general is not very good. If we can take his general out, that would make a big difference. My guess is he'll see that he's surrounded by Germanic cavalry there and probably pull his general out. That would be a good tactical move there to pull his general out of there, because he is outnumbered by my troops, my cavalry there. As you can see the Gaul general pulling his troops out there, pulling his general out there, because he could see that possibly he might have lost his general. If you notice there, I'm trying to chase down that general with what's left of my cavalry, but if you notice there, I did what I wanted to really. I depleted a lot of the enemy cavalry units there. Yeah, they still got a bit of cavalry left, but the damage that I did with my cavalry there really kind of depleted the power that they had left in their cavalry there. I'm still trying to chase that Gaul general down with the troops I've got left, but as you can see, I've only got 2 or 3 cavalry in each one of my units. You can see our Greek city ally is moving his Greek city troops out and about here. But as I say, I've just got my general left now, and if he gets killed, you go. That's my general just been taken out. Alright, so I think now I might only have maybe 1 unit left. If I've got any units left, I might have 1 unit left. Oh, I think I've got, there you go, out of my whole Germanic army, all I've got left now is an archer unit that has run out of arrows. But remember, these archers, these chosen archers, are so tough you can use them as light infantry. So I'll be looking to try and use them as best I can here. But if you notice our Greek city ally here, he's got some units together there, but a lot of his units are isolated. And isolated units can be targeted by the enemy by archer fire as well as infantry hits. Right, can you see I'm moving my archer unit in here to help my Greek city ally there, try and take out some of those Gaul chosen swordsmen. As I say, this is the last unit that I've got, so I'm going to try and make the most use of it here by helping my allies out with my archer unit there. Okay, so the other part over in the other part of the battlefield there, you can see that our Greek city allies got a couple of units there still fighting, but they are a bit isolated and they are battle depleted, and you can see more enemy infantry and cavalry coming over to try and take them out. And you can see he's moving more infantry over. But at this stage of the battle, really, you need to consolidate your infantry. I think our Greek citizen ally maybe needs to consolidate his infantry more, get them into a close formation here, because, like I say, when they get isolated like this, being shot at with fire arrows, lowering their morale, being hit by enemy troops, you can see that they can be routed. I think that one Greek city unit just had a battlefield promotion. I think I just saw it glow. Remember, when a unit does well in this game, it gets a battlefield promotion, which is a stripe. So that unit now has got an experience stripe on it as well. But as I say, it is being attacked by a lot of Gaul units there. As I say, our Greek city ally there is bringing over all his units there. I think we all said to him when we were watching the battle there, put your infantry together, try and consolidate them a bit. Let's move on to double speed here. Speed up the game a little bit, because as you can see there, the majority of enemy units that are left are now Gaul units. And of course, if they attack Greek cities, my guess is that the Greek cities will probably, being the elite troops that they are, will be able to take those Gaul troops out. I think actually now, to be honest with you, I think obviously the battle's lost to the enemy team here. So like we've talked about in other battle videos, now might be a good idea time to actually admit defeat and just move into the lobby to get another battle going there. I think is the best thing. You can see I've still got my my one archer unit that I'm moving out there to help my my Greek cities teammates there. As I say, I've got it on double speed at the moment, but as I said, let's go on to triple speed there. As I say, at this stage of the battle now, Gaul's not going to win this battle against the elite Spartan and Greek city units there, so maybe it might be a good idea to just admit defeat. Okay, can you see that one archer unit of mine being attacked by Gaul troops there? Okay, those Gaul troops are battle depleted, but as you can see, as I say, these chosen archers are so tough, you can use them as light infantry and they can still do good as well. Okay, but as I say, really in general now, I think the battle is won, and I think that the enemy should now admit, and we can get into the lobby to host a brand new game. I think that's, as I say, towards the end of the battle there, when the battle is definitely lost, why not just admit defeat, and you know, we can get into the lobby and host a new game. Let's say I'm on triple speed now just to finish this off. I'm hoping the Gaul general will admit soon, and see that cavalry unit going into my archer unit, and bang, as it charged there, another infantry unit charging in there. Let's say these archer units are pretty tough, those chosen archers there. Okay, thank goodness for that. The Gaul guy has just admitted defeat. Okay, so you can see there it's a very close victory. After we lost our left flank and left centre there, I thought we were going to lose the battle, but somehow we managed to turn it around. Now that very old Germanic army of mine, might be 12, 13 years old, managed to get the highest kills. I think that's one of the highest kills I've seen Germania get. Mad King probably didn't get the kills that he wanted, but he did a really great job. Aurelius did good. Legion probably didn't get the kills that he did, but that diversionary tactic that he pulled on the left flank really did well. And really well done to the enemy team too. Good kills there for you as well, guys. Well done. Probably Corndog didn't get the kills that he wanted, but he did well. Just have a look at the battle statistics here. See, my Barbarian Warlord killed 166. Whoa, that's pretty good. And you can see my other cavalry units didn't do too bad. The Archer Warband there, Chosen Archers Warband there, didn't do too badly. The Berserkers, a little bit disappointed with his Berserker kills there. Night Raiders, look at the kills the Night Raiders got. And look at the kills the Chosen Axemen got. Okay, that's really good kills there for Germania. That's really good. So I'm really pleased with that old Germanian army. As I say, it might be 12, 13 years old, this army. Mad King, I said, did really well. Probably didn't get the kills that he wanted to there, but he was kind of like the anchor to our team. As I say, that old Germanic army of mine did quite good there. But I was just going to say, well done to everybody in the battle there. So everybody played well. And I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's something like 6 different factions in this battle as well, which is something we really like. The more factions that people bring, I think it makes the battle even more interesting there. So really well done for bringing all those different factions. This Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed the battle. Please leave a comment if you like. I always like reading what you think about our battles, and I hope you've enjoyed this one. So Spartan Commander saying bye for now.